just moments away from getting them rolling. Let's have a look at the grid of 21 cars. Again, this is the USF2000 Championship. Cooper Tires, the sponsor of the series, and we're thrilled to have these young drivers getting ready to go for their first event of the 2019 season. Let's have a look at the grid right now. Starting in the 21st position, driver out of England for J. Howard Driver Development, it's Matt Round-Garrido. And row number 10, in 20th and 19th, trouble for both of these drivers in qualifying. It'll be Eduardo Barrichello starting on the outside of row number 10, alongside Darren Keene, driver who qualified on pole for race number 2. Moving now to row number 9, it'll be the 17th and 18th position. On the outside, Cameron Shields from Australia in the number 73, starting 18th, alongside Jack William Miller in the Miller Veneteri number 30. We'll do the rest of the grid here momentarily, as we still have about 16 drivers to go.
We're already just getting tuckers out here.
So again, getting ready to potentially fire up these drivers and get them back onto the racetrack. They had a qualifying session for round number 2 of the series earlier this morning. They were on track at actually 7:30. Drastically different temperatures here trackside. We were looking like we were getting ready to fire things up, but we're on hold right now with the drivers on the pit lane here. So let me jump back again into the grid. Let's go to row number 8, Christian Bogle starting out on the outside, the J. Howard Motorsports Development number 7, rookie driver in the series. And for Team E, J Motorsports, Nate Aranda, another rookie in the number 69, starting 15th. Moving to row number 7 on the outside, second-year driver, racing for Legacy Autosport, the number 77 out of Mexico. It's Jose Sierra. He'll start 14th alongside a rookie from the West Coast, Nolan Siegel for Newman Walks Racing in the number 36. Things settling down a little bit here right now. We had to wait for the NTT IndyCar Series drivers to get off pit lane. We've brought our USF2000 drivers out, and we will continue to look at row number 6. On the outside, Anthony Famularo for BN Racing, the rookie driving the number 28. And on the inside, it'll be the young American Reese Gold, just 15 years of age, running for Cape Motorsports in the gold-colored number 3. We'll work our way into the top 10 now. Row number 5, starting on the outside from Mexico. It's Manuel Cabrera in the trademark red and black for Exclusive Autosport. Cabrera in the number 90. Inside of that row, Christian Rasmussen, another one of the J. Howard Motorsports drivers, the rookie starting in the 6th position. Moving now to row number 4 on the outside from Machanomawac, Wisconsin. For Pabst Racing, the rookie Yuvan Sundaramudi will be in the number 21. And on the inside, a driver who has won here before, the number 14 of Alex Barron. Folks, we're just about a minute away to get things rolling here right now. I have my guest joining me down here. Michael Millardi is going to give us the call to fire things up here. Again, we have 21 drivers. I'll give you the final 6 when we fire them up, as we try to stay on time a little bit here. Folks, we are getting ready to go. Again, drivers ready to fire up their engines here in the USF2000 program, the first rung of the Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires. And again, one of our guests from the program here today to fire things up, Michael Millardi, is going to give them the call to fire up these 2-liter power plants. Michael, take it away.
On behalf of everyone at Anderson Race Park, drivers, start your engines.
And there we go, call to fire the engines, and they will fire up here on pit lane. Row number 3, it'll be Bruna Tomaselli, the young girl out of Brazil, starting the number 24, Pabst Racing in 6th. On the inside, her teammate, Colin Kaminsky, in the number 23. Row number 4, out of Greenfield, Indiana, running for BN Racing, Zach Holden, the fine qualifying effort, a 1:13.7. Holden in the 27, starting in the 4th spot. Alongside Holden, Manuel Suleiman for D-Force Racing, the impressive young Mexican driver, P3 in his debut here in USF2000. 21 drivers in the field. We'll put 2 on the front row. Off pole, the winner of the scholarship from Mazda, the $200,000 shootout last year, Hunter McElray from Australia, starting in the 2nd position. Well, the driver starting on the pole will be Braden Eves for Cape Motorsports in the number 8. Braden Eves, a rookie in the series, and will most definitely challenge for the championship. There's your 21 kart grid. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll throw it back up to Michael Young.
Thank you, Rob Howden. As we see one of the AMR safety vehicles, they are down, currently working their way to turn number 10. So once we clear the field, we will see them go green. Race number 1 of the weekend. The Cooper Tires USF2000 Grand Prix of St. Petersburg, presented by Anderson Race Park. Anderson Race Park VIP sits in the flagger stand. We'll wave the green flag to get us underway. 40-minute timed event. Braden Eves on the pole with Hunnell McElray on the outside of row number 1. First race of the season, and we always keep our eye on turn number 1. This could be Calamity Corner for these young drivers. The first rung of the road to Indy, presented by Cooper Tires. This is the key corner for these young drivers to get through cleanly as we see them starting to align. Side by side, cars align. 11 rows of 2 make their way out of turns number 13 and 14. The pace car off the field. Our VIP from Anderson Race Park awaits with the green flag as the field makes their way out of turn number 14. They come down the straightaway for the first time, and here for the call of the start of the race, the voice of this road to Indy, Rob Howden.
Thank you so much, Michael. A quick sprint up from pit lane. Field rolling up, and we're underway. Green, green, green. New season underway.
Oh, all kinds of contact. We have a car upside down.
One driver, total flip, Michael. Upside down, but back down on his wheels. Connected coming into turn number 1.
A scary moment in turn number 1 as we saw one of the drivers lock their brakes going into turn number 1, went up and over, but luckily landed on all fours.
Indeed, they got down into turn number 1. Braden Eves got out to an early lead in the number 8. And when that happens, normally a couple drivers have pinched from both sides.
I believe that's the 14 of Alex Barron. Alex Barron will sit at the exit of turn number 2.
Well, would that be a driver who should be off all the way
Well,
on 1?
also maybe that's contacted Alex Barron. We have another driver down in turn number 1, but that was certainly at the front of the field. Alex Barron starting on the inside of row number 4.
AMR safety crew, Michael, there in an absolute second. We're watching, getting the replay again. We'll see if we can't get that replay one more time to have a look at what happened there in turn number 1. Field now, of course, circulating around. Everybody's slotting into position.
Here we go again.
Here's the replay.
Goes up.
Wow, look at that. That was an absolute barrel, and that was indeed, I think that's Alex Barron, driver who won here last year. That thing absolutely snapped in a complete barrel roll.
I've never seen a car
never
roll like that in all the years of covering motorsports. A scary crash, and of course the AMR safety team instantly at the scene of the incident to tend to Alex Barron, but clearly locked up the brakes and really had no control, went up and over, hit another car on his left side, and that caused that roll to begin.
The crazy thing about that is the fact that I'm sure Alex is going to be fine because the car flipped completely over 360 like from front to back. It wasn't a barrel roll like a full flip. It was just a complete rollover, back down on its wheels, then
like
sliding off the track. Like
it was a corkscrew.
And you could see he got a little too deep in there, and the minute he made contact with the rotating rear wheels of the cars in front of him, it just flipped him like a top.
I believe it was the front right tire buckles when he makes contact with the car ahead of him, so we'll probably see damage to a few of the other machines. And, of course, then he was along for the ride as the car started to veer back to its left, made contact with another car, and caused it to corkscrew.
Well, we've seen issues before like this in turn number 1 of USF2000. More normally, it's a driver coming down the inside, trying to go deep into turn 1. There's no rubber down the inside. There's no gripply down the inside, so you'll see those drivers just slide right through. But that is a very, very tough debut for Legacy Autosport. Mike Meyer and his crew were hoping to come in here, potentially battle for a race win. Alex Barron, a winner in multiple years here in USF2000. He actually has an Indy Lights race win to his credit as well back in Toronto a number of years ago. a talented French driver. And no, more contact further back on the yellow lap. We just had drivers make contact coming out of the final corner on the yellow lap. We're driving around under yellow, and we had contact up in the final corner here. This is not the start we wanted. Coming out of turn number 14, Nate Aranda. That's Nate Aranda in the Team E J Motorsports entry, a very late program that got put together just a couple of weeks ago. Team E, of course, a former Indy Lights team with Bobby Wilson and R.C. Enerson. Enerson owns the Lucas Oil School of Racing. J Motorsport, a former crew chief of the year for USF2000. So while we're circulating under the yellow and while they take the car of Alex Barron up on the hook and we'll get him behind the wall there in turn number 1, we have drivers getting together under caution. Well, and that just can't happen.
And that's one of those situations. They're coming out of turn number 14 trying to keep the debris off of those tires, and you have some drivers maybe checking up just a second, so you get one check up on top of another, and then someone's trying to clean their tires or swings a little wide. You get contact like that. But unfortunately for Nate Aranda, it doesn't look like he's moving out of turn number 14. That car disabled.
No, he went up and over. There's going to be right side suspension damage, then nosed into the wall. And you can see how close these drivers are on the racetrack right now. There's absolutely zero need to be following that close right now on a yellow flag. Just pull back a little bit. Don't get yourself into a potential issue. So trouble getting things started here. Braden Eves, let's reset. Braden Eves is the leader now. Lap 2, we've got 2 laps in the books under the yellow. It's Suleiman now up into second spot. Christian Rasmussen into third. Colin Kaminsky fourth and Zach Holden fifth. Hunter McElray in sixth. Yuvan Sundaramurthy in seventh. Manuel Cabrera eighth. Reese Gold ninth. And Jose Sierra now in the 10th spot. Drivers moving up. Darren Keen, remember, started deep in the field. He was able to get a couple spots coming through, but the yellow coming out so fast.
The big mover was Christian Rasmussen. He started 9th and ends up 3rd. So you wonder if a bold move made coming on the inside or outside. Alex Barron trying to go with him. That you had a lot of cars spread out there. So certainly a bold move by Rasmussen gave him 6 positions on that start. And then Alex Barron with the late break catches him off guard. He goes screw driving down into turn number 1.
Let's see if we can see the replay again, guys, because we're going to be able to see some drivers probably into the inside. Rasmussen is going to make some moves up coming to the inside. Here they are coming to the start. Green flag flies. Good start here again for Braden Eves. He's nicely into position. Drivers coming to the back.
So there's Rasmussen that steps out.
Yeah, Rasmussen steps out and comes through. So keep that rolling. Let's have a look. That is a big, that's going to be an expensive wreck. But that was into the side, I believe. Yeah, trying to come through. That is, I think, Hunter McElray, actually, potentially. Hunter McElray, I believe, the driver who he hit to the side. You could see that Barron gets in, hits the driver to the right. It shoots him to the left, and as soon as he goes to the left and connects with those wheels, corkscrew.
Well, McElray starts on the outside of row number 1. Let's roll that maybe one more time. We'll keep an eye on the front of the field because clearly Christian Rasmussen made a big move down to the inside, locked him up, and gained a ton of spots.
It looked to me like it might have been the Mazda colors, right? We're looking for that Mazda Soul Red color. Trying to think, it could have been Colin Kaminsky as well. That's a great call.
So that's McElray
out here. Yep. It is. McElray to the outside. In comes just cooking in way too deep into the zone there for Alex Barron. As I said, shot off the car from the right and then went to the left.
Hit the car on the inside, so that's the initial contact.
I think that could be Zach Holden potentially.
Okay, so Zach
Holden's still rolling though.
Yeah, so Holden on the inside, and Barron make contact. That shoots him then to the inside or outside, I should say, of Hunter McElray, who did not have a good start at all. Hunter did not have a good start, so he's laid back. So the rest of the field gangs up on that front row. Just a tragic start to this race.
As you had said, Michael, we have never seen a flip like that in all the years that we've been covering this program. It's 10 years. This is the 10th year of the Road to Indy, presented by Cooper Tires, the 10th year since the rebirth of the USF2000 program. And I have never seen a car jink to the left and then do a complete corkscrew barrel roll. Unbelievable.
Well, looking at Zach Holden's card, he's about, it looks like 5th in line.
27.
Don't see any damage there.
I don't either. So it's Eves, Suleiman, McElray, Rasmussen, and Holden the top 5, Kaminsky 6th, Sundaramurthy in 7th, Cabrera 8th, Gold 9th, and Jose Sierra in 10th. And we had the incident, of course, in turn number 1 with Alex Barron, the one that we've detailed pretty intensely. And then Nate Aranda very likely getting checked up by another driver. They have a number of safety vehicles over there in turn number 14 with Nate Aranda. Hopefully he's all right. It didn't seem like a big hit. It was under yellow. He just climbed over top of the driver in front of him and then potentially center punched the wall a little bit. Well, that'll wake you up a little bit here for the start of our 2019 Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tire season. Again, we say a big hello to everyone who is tuned in with the Road to Indy TV app. Great way to follow the Road to Indy events wherever we are. We have the Road to Indy TV episodes as well, live timing, a lot of great stuff available on the Road to Indy TV app. If you haven't downloaded it, great opportunity to do so.
Well, an unfortunate red flag at our first race of the season, and if I remember correctly, last year the USF2000 series was pretty clean. They had a good couple of opening rounds here on the streets of St. Petersburg, but incident contact with Alex Barron, and we hopefully will have news on his condition. AMR safety team there. And then Nate Aranda down at the exit of turn number 14. The reason why we brought the field down and red flagged the race. That car sits parked on the outside retaining wall at the exit of turn number 14.
And then, the real issue here, the tough deal is that these young drivers in this very first rung of the Road to Indy need this track time. They need to be out on track. They need to be racing. And that was just a really uncharacteristic issue for Alex Barron. You almost wonder if there was a bit of a brake failure, if maybe the pedal was a bit soft, or he just hadn't. Remember, we only gave him one lap around. Maybe he hadn't warmed the brakes up enough either. That's one of the things that drivers will do around the warm-up lap after they leave the grid, and that's trail on the brakes a little bit, try to get a little heat built into them so they're going to grab the first time you really want to stand on them.
So Alex starts on the inside of row number 4, and we had Hunter McElray on the outside of row number 1. Like we said, it didn't look like Hunter had a very good start, and you're 3 rows behind him. You're probably dodging through, and by the time you get to the slower start and things start to unfold and you're in that braking zone, you feel like you still have time to brake, and I don't think Hunter really got the launch that he wanted coming out of 14.
One key thing as well is that was obviously Alex Barron's launching, as you said, from P7, the inside of row number 4. He's got time to see things develop, and he knows he's a veteran. He knows that the drivers are going to the inside. They may have a better line to the inside in terms of holding the position, but there's no rubber down there. It's usually pretty dirty. People haven't been driving down there. When you get in there, you're going to push through. So he probably you're going to have to brake earlier, because if you brake it where you normally brake, you're going to push right on through because there's no grip and it's all dirty down there. I have a feeling that maybe Alex saw that happening and was trying to get to the left of the racetrack. You can see he was trying to, I think, not make contact with the back of Zach Holden, who was more kind of in the middle of the racetrack as opposed to being to the outside.
Well, I think the big hero move of that opening lap was Christian Rasmussen, who made his way from 9th. He then finished, before we went to caution, in the 4th position, so he picked up 5 spots there. But that said, he was so far down on the inside of the track, there is no grip down there, and we saw him lock him up. So fortunately, he started braking early enough that slide, he could control himself through the entrance to turn number 1 and make that corner. But if he would have waited any later to make that move, he could have taken out the front 3 or 4 cars.
2 things. Number 1, I really want to see his in-car camera now.
Yeah.
Going from that far back to 4th. I'd like to see the in-car footage. And second, we just did a little introduction to the media center for the Andretti Indy Lights team. Ryan Norman, Oliver Askew, and Robert McGinnis. And Oliver commented on the fact that when last couple of years, they've changed the paint down in that. The paint's a lot wider, I believe, than it used to be. You can see it from the big screen now. That big white line coming down, there's no grip on that. It's not, remember, it's the painted over top of the pavement. So even when you're getting in there, you're going to lose a lot of grip. You can see how it's kind of been rubbed off a little bit further out to the outside of the racetrack, where you'll actually be turning in. You get down that clean stuff, and there's just no grip at all.
It's like
ice
for ice.
Ice.
So if the fans are familiar with driving in an icy condition, it's much like that. And as you made mention there, Rob, if you look at the landing strip paint there, you see where the black marks have kind of covered the white. That's where it's basically rubbered in. But you see, if you look, a couple of stray tire marks down there low, and you can clearly see, and I wouldn't doubt if that was Christian Rasmussen there, that's his tire marks coming in there. That
On
he
the
locked them up
inside
for
of the way, yeah.
a good 30 to 40 feet.
So let's make the translation for those of our Florida fans that are here watching today who don't know what ice is when we're talking about going and driving your car.
Hydroplane.
Hydroplaning, a lot of water. Exactly right.
We have to remember we're down south, that they don't worry about ice in Florida. Beautiful day here in St. Petersburg, and again, race fans treated to lots of racing action, and we have an opportunity for race fans to meet these drivers a little bit later on today, the drivers of the USF2000 Series signing autographs today.
Obviously, the NTT IndyCar Series, their autograph session at 12:30 this afternoon in the Fan Village.
And let me interrupt you. Robert Wickens, I believe, will be part of that. And Robert has made his way to the track this race weekend.
Yeah.
And talk about a story for the fans familiar with his story. A great race here. Nearly won last year, had contact with Alexander Rossi, drove the wheels off the car, pole position, and had everybody going, look at this kid. Had a wonderful season going until the contact with Ryan Hunter-Reay, just one of those racing incidents, but a horrific crash. And Robert has made such strides, an amazing recovery. For him to be here 6 months nearly to the day of the incident, and to have him here with us today is just astounding.
I think he's been an inspiration to a lot of people. I talked to Robert very quickly on pit lane during the IndyCar program, and he's focused on getting back in a race car. And whatever it may be, he's pushing it. Of course, the primary focus is to be able to dance with his fiancee when they do get married later on this year. The autograph sessions we talked about, 12:45 for the NTT IndyCar Series. The same goes for USF2000 Indy Lights.
At the exit of turn number 14 under caution. There we see the car on the hook. So we have two drivers, and we will update you on the conditions of those drivers when we have more information.
Michael, looking at that car right now and the fact that there's really not a lot of damage to it, I would think that potentially when he went over top, potentially something with his wrist. You know, that a lot of the times when you hit there, the steering wheel will snap, potentially could have did some damage to one of his hands, fingers, wrist, that kind of a thing. And that's one thing that just happens. You're just there, and all of a sudden that wheel jerks. So that's a potential. We'll hope the best for Nate.
Yeah, it happens here so quickly. We've seen it here on the streets of St. Petersburg time and time again, especially down in turns 4 and 5. You get through that area, you see a pile up or whatever, and you want to try to steer through, and that snap can happen so quickly, and you really don't have control. Without power steering in these cars, you don't have that control that your instinct is to drive it through, but the best thing to do, let go of the wheel.
Let go. Interesting as well, they've actually, from what we see here on live timing, they've actually shut the time down. So there's still, as it says here, a little over 31 minutes remaining. We'll get an update from race control to find out exactly what the plan is. But with this track now pretty much clear, we'll be able to get back at it again. Braden Eves set to start from the pole position. Braden, a driver who did some racing in F1600, won a couple of races last year, did some F4 racing. One of the top carters here in North America as well. Braden Eves with Cape Motorsports in the number 8 machine. He's out of Ohio, New Albany, Ohio. And a very talented young driver who was selected to be part of the Team USA scholarship program to run overseas last fall. Wasn't able to do it with a minor medical situation. They got that dialed in. But Braden, definitely a championship challenger coming out of the gate here in the Cooper Tires USF2000 Championship. Manuel Suleiman, I want to say surprised us a little bit for D-Force Racing. He just came out of the box so well. He was quick at the test. We had our spring training test last weekend down in Homestead. He qualified third here. Had a little issue in qualifying this morning for race number 2. Got into the wall early, so he'll start at the tail of the field for that one. But he now runs P2 here. Hunter McElray in the 3rd spot. Christian Rasmussen in 3rd. Zach Holden. Rasmussen 4th. Holden 5th. Colin Kaminsky in the 6th spot. Yuvan Sundaramurthy now runs in 7th. Manuel Cabrera in 8th. Reese Gold, the young driver from Puerto Rico, lives here now in Miami, Florida, just 15 years of age. Reese in the number 3, going to start in the 9th position now. Jose Sierra will restart from 10th. Anthony Famularo in the number 28, starting in 11th, driver out of Venezuela. Nolan Siegel in the number 36, just 14 years of age, out of Palo Alto, California, for Newman Walks Racing. Siegel is starting 13th in the restart. Jack Miller in 14th, Cameron Shields 15th, Christian Bogle 16th. Keep an eye out for the white number 2 of Darren Keene from Boca Raton, Florida. He'll start 17th, qualified pole for race number 2 earlier this morning. The only issue he had here, a transponder issue, was not able to pick up any times when we were doing our qualifying session for this particular race. Had to start from the very tail of the field. Darren Keene, definitely one to watch. Eduardo Barrichello in the 41 for Miller Vinatieri Racing, starting 18th, the son of F1 star Rubens Barrichello. Matt Round Garrido had some issue with electrical in qualifying. I expect him to be able to work his way up at least into the top 15 before it's all said and done. Nate Aranda and Alex Barron, 2 drivers out of the race.
This happened last year with Aaron Telitz in the Indy Lights. Had bad luck right out of the gate, and it cost in the championship.
Yeah.
Alex Barron's certainly a championship contender, and you can't say, well, clearly out of it already, but certainly you don't want to end up last in a 21-car field in the opening round. That hopefully a good finish for him tomorrow. We hope that he's okay, but you're going to have to dig out of the hole the first 3 or 4 rounds.
Always worried about budget, too.
Yeah.
You know, how much money do you have put aside for crash damage? Because that was a big one, Michael. You're probably going to be 4 quarters there. He'd be lucky if he didn't damage the gearbox in a flip like that. There's body work. Again, these cars are designed so well by Tatis. It's such a safe cockpit, the monocoque to be in. You know what I mean? It's all carbon fiber. And I guarantee he's going to be fine. Maybe a little rattled up a little bit because he did come back down on all 4 wheels. It's the damage to the pocketbook that may be a little more painful than the actual impact of what happened in heading into turn number 1. But as it stands, we're refired, and we are back underway here at the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. We'll look to go green when they get back around here to start-finish.
So the field making their way around Pioneer Park and down Bay Shore, working their way down into turn number 10. Turn 9, that kink halfway down Bay Shore. Then the left-hander in turn number 10. A great opportunity to overtake.
So again, let's get them going here, Michael. They'll work their way out of turn number 10 over to 11, 12, through 13 and 14, which is essentially the hairpin part of the racetrack here as they come around and roll back onto the front straightaway. Braden Eves looking for the big jump.
All right, boys and girls, let's take our time to get down into turn number 1.
Yeah, let's be a little easy into turn 1. Single file should make it easy. We're underway. We'll look at start finish. Indeed, the green flag flying to get this USF2000 race back underway. Eves the leader, Suleiman second. It's the Soul Red Mazda of Hunter McElray in third. 2 drivers side by side coming through. That's, I want to say, Rasmussen and Kaminsky side by side.
Yeah, Rasmussen lost a couple of positions. Holden and Kaminsky got around him, working their way down into turn number 1. They got a good launch off of turn number 14.
Drivers moving up. Christian Bogle, Cameron Shields, Darren Keene all getting a spot coming through turn number 1 and 2. Matt Round Garrido gets by. Jack Miller slots that back a couple of spots. Now we'll start settling in and let these young drivers go to work. There are ample places to pass here. 1 driver off at the back part of the racetrack going into, what is that, Michael?
Turn number 8.
Turn number 8 runoff area.
You know who's coming? Zach Holden. He's running in 4th right now, but he has caught this and makes a move to the inside. Almost.
Yeah, he's putting the pressure right now on Hunter McElray. And that's the idea. Keep the pressure up. Try to force that driver to make a mistake, to overcook a corner, maybe lock the brakes up, maybe miss that turn-in point.
I think McElroy saw him coming and guarded that inside line, but Holden certainly had a great restart, gaining 2 positions. Now trying to take 4th away from McElroy.
They'll work their way down the front straightaway. And again, pretty good run here up front for Braden Eves. He's getting the job done. 5th, 6th, and 6th right together as well. Rasmussen, Kaminsky, and Tomaselli. Little jink coming to the apex for Kaminsky. Car just kind of got a little wiggle on him, and he had to gather it back up coming through turn number 1.
A little bit of understeer there. Caught the car. There we see the work, and to turn number 4. And boy, Zach Holden, did he lock him up?
Yeah, right front lockup for Zach Holden, pushing hard. There's a pass further back. We got a yellow flag flying over in turn number 5. Is that 5-6, I believe?
Yep,
yellow flag flying.
That's leaving turn number 6. That's turn number 7 going into turn number 8. So that complex there.
That could be for the driver off.
That's the runoff.
Yeah, somebody probably getting back around, trying to roll again. That potentially was Manuel Cabrera, I believe, in the. That could be Cabrera in the exclusive Autosports number 90. He'll try to get back onto the racetrack and continue on. Reese Gold now up into the top 10. Good run for Reese. P10 in the Cave Motorsports number 3. There's your leaders coming through the final complex here at St. Petersburg. Back onto the straightaway. Braden Eves, your leader. Ran last year with Newman Walks Racing in the finale at Portland International Raceway. It was a top 5 runner. Full course yellow. Full course yellow being thrown. We can't see it yet whether or not there's an issue on the racetrack. Again, someone off track here.
It's back down in that turn 4, 5, 6 complex as they left 6 and maybe into 7. So let's see if we can get at least a car number for you so we can let you know who it is. It's car number 90, Manuel Cabrera.
That's Cabrera. Cabrera in the exclusive Autosport machine overcooked it going into turn number 8. You got to think that he potentially is stuck somewhere there in the runoff.
He was in the runoff, but I don't see why we would throw the caution unless he tried to come back out and had an issue.
Or if it wasn't him that went into the runoff, and that's an actual contact potentially with the wall in that corner. We'll see. But again, it is indeed the number 90 of Manuel Cabrera who has brought out this yellow flag over in turn number 8 and 9. That's the complex that is so crucial here to this racetrack, Michael. The double apex right-hander that leads them back onto the straightaway. That big run down to turn number 10.
And turn number 8 is such a key corner because you want to carry as much speed as you can on that right-hander. You get those left sides as close as the wall as you can see back down into the complex we're talking about. Now we're looking back into turn number 9. That's that kink on Bayshore, and your final opportunity to make a move to the inside here in turn number 10. There is a runoff to the right in case you overcook the car and hit those brakes and you carry that momentum in. We've seen lots of cars make that decision at the last second. They're locking up the brakes. Can I make it? Can I not? You have that runoff there, and that's one of the safety nets, if you will, of this course.
A little split decision on yourself when you're getting into that corner because you're trying to get down to the inside. You're making that deep move, and you, as Michael said, you can elect to kind of wind out the steering wheel and head off into the runoff. It doesn't happen a lot, but if
usually we see them in the tires. They try to continue that turn, and that doesn't usually bode well.
If it doesn't work, you're pounding up on the tires on the outside of turn number 10, right in front of the grandstand. I'll tell you who this yellow flag works for. Cameron Shields and Darren Keene. These two drivers here started deep in the field. Keene has worked his way up to 13th. This yellow tucks it all back in again. We are on a timed race, 13 minutes remaining. We're into the time limit here, 13 minutes remaining. Ideally, we'll get the cleanup over there in turn number 8 and get back at it. Eves, Suleiman, McElroy, Holden, and Rasmussen still your top 5. Tomaselli 6th, Kaminsky 7th, Sierra up to 8th in the other Legacy Autosport entry. Sundaramurthy in 9th, and Reese Gold, a tremendous run right now in 10th. Look out, though, for Cameron Shields in the Newman Walks Racing number 73, the traditional white and orange for Newman Walks. And then Darren Keene in the primarily white with blue and black accents, the 8-ball. That's the leader up front. He's got the 2-ball for Darren Keene for Cape Motorsports. Darren's going to come attacking here right now.
And this is what Darren Keene kept his fingers crossed for. Yes. This caution will help him on a good restart. He could get 2 or 3 positions. He could find himself, if he does have a good final 12 minutes of this race when we go green, in the top 10. And who would have thought it had this thing went clean and green from the beginning? Agreed.
He knows that he's got a car that can come to the front. He'll start from pole in race number 2 tomorrow. The tough ones for Keene is going to be number 1, the guy in front of him. Cameron Shields is quick at the number 73. Then eventually, if Darren keeps going, he's got to get past his young 15-year-old teammate, Reese Gold. He'll take great care getting by a teammate who currently runs in the 10th spot. Field set up. They're coming out of turn number 13 and 14. Braden Eves will stand back on the loud pedal. And away we go again with USF2000. Good jump there for Braden Eves. He pulls about 8 cart lengths as they come across start finish. 4 wide, coming down into turn number 1. Further back. That's a pass. Sundar Murthy's trying to get in there as well. Side by side with Jose Sierra.
Zach Holden went on the outside, and he lost a position. He tried to make the move on the outside, lost the inside, then in the next turn, so he lost a position to Rasmussen.
Christian Rasmussen, very impressive young driver, ran F4 last year. Good to see him here this year in the Cooper Tires USF2000 Championship. They're all settling in indeed. That's that blue and black car, the number 6 of Rasmussen. He's able to get by Zach Holden, as Michael had said, through turn 1-2 complex. We'll see where Darren Keene works his way up to here. Still 10.5 minutes to go.
Holden had a great run, got on the outside along McElray, but then he lost the corner, and there was a move right there.
Holden to the inside, book it in turn number 10. But here comes Rasmussen back. He crisscrosses him and takes it back before 11.
Rasmussen answered back with a great move. Now Holden under the tack from the rear. That's Kaminsky and Tomaselli. They're both coming.
Great racing here right now. Bruna Tomaselli, her 3rd year in the series from the 24, starting to put the pressure on. They'll come back across start finish. We'll see where they all line up.
Locked him up in the 1.
Oh, driving around. That's Sierra. Jose Sierra around. Sierra spins, and I believe that might be Tomaselli.
Yeah.
He takes out Tomaselli. Sierra loops it. So another yellow flag. That's going to be very quick cleanup. In fact, Tomaselli's going to continue, but she potentially has lost the front wing. Or that could, I think that's actually Sierra's wing. Not a good day to start for Legacy Autosport. They had the flip by Alex Barron and the light spin here by Jose Sierra, who was trying to go to work on Colin Kaminsky.
I think Bruna locked him up into turn 1, went
Here's
deep
the
to the inside, locks him up.
Now that's actually Sierra
that's
coming
Sierra.
to the inside. He's trying
Nearly
to make
gets
a move.
Holden.
How does he not hit Holden?
Wow.
Tomaselli's trying to do the over-under.
There's Bruna coming in, and
now, you know what? Props to Sierra. When you spin 2 feet in, right? He didn't let the car roll backwards. He locked up the brakes, and Bruna Tomaselli just was simply nowhere to go. The benefactor there is Darren Keene. He's going to get Sierra, Tomaselli, and he's going to get, I believe, Cameron Shields. Yeah, let's see that one more time with 8.5 minutes to go. So again, Michael, as they come out across start finish.
So it's the blue car.
No, that's not.
That's a live shot, or that's a live shot we have here. It's that blue car of Sierra that's on the inside that locks up the tires.
He's making the move on the inside to try to see if he can't get by Tomaselli. And when you do that, locks the fronts up, and as he starts to turn in, the car starts to rotate early. There they are, just coming into the paint right now.
Sierra locks him up,
hits
that
the
paint.
inside.
As soon as he hits that paint,
boom.
Yep.
He was trying to apply too much brake pressure, locks up the right front tire. You can see as he starts turning in, the brakes are still locked up, and your tire can only do so many things. The rear end starts coming around. He pinches down the front, and Tomaselli just couldn't get the car around enough, and she was probably expecting him to roll backwards a little bit.
Right.
So that moves Darren Keene, folks, up into the 9th position, as I said, and kudos on the drivers for refiring those engines and getting going again. We did not go to full course yellow. Braden Eves leads now. Time winding down, 7.5 minutes. It is Manuel Suleiman in second. Hunter McElray third. Christian Rasmussen in fourth. Zach Holden fifth. Sixth spot, Bruna Tomaselli. Seventh is Yuvan Sundaramurthy. Fast driver on the racetrack right now, Zach Holden, working his way forward. Darren Keene up to eighth as he's been able to get by Famularo. And Reese Gold in the 10th spot. All 3 Cape drivers into the top 10. A great run there for Darren Keene as he's been able to work his way up into 8th. Again, 7 minutes remaining. First round of the USF2000 program. And here comes the stricken Jose Sierra down the pit lane. His front wing, the one side ripped right off. it's rotated about 90 degrees.
Almost saved it going into one. Had the slide going, and then the car rotated, and Bruno did a great job. I thought she was going to be able to avoid the whole thing, and that car didn't roll back like I think she anticipated it would.
And that's what you do. If someone's passing you down the inside and they've got the job done, you're going to try to get it wound up a little early to try to go over-under. And she's been able to maybe break a little earlier on that. I think initially she figured she was going to try to hang on the outside.
Well, Braden Eves, nearly a 2-second advantage over Suleiman.
Darren Keene getting another spot, Michael. He's able to get by Yuvan Sundaramurthy, just turned fast lap of the race. We don't want to put pressure on the opening race saying it's going to tell the tale for the championship chase, but if Darren Keene finds himself in a championship battle before the end of this season, he'll be able to look back to race number 1 and what he's doing right now, coming from 21st all the way up to 7th place on the racetrack now, just 1.5 seconds behind Tomaselli.
It's been a heck of a run thus far for Braden Eves, but Darren Keene, the man on the move. We talked about his dilemma yesterday. Started 19th, has now worked his way into the 7th position. 5 minutes remaining in race number 1.
Darren Keene out of Boca Raton, Florida. The Cal Development. Keene Architectural Works entry for Cape Motorsports. Pushing forward, trying to get another couple of spots. There's Keene right there, the number 2, working his way through the final couple of corners. He's got Bruno Tomaselli right in front of him. It's a big gap next to Zach Holden, who runs in 5th. Braden Eves, your leader, resets fast lap of the race at 112.4. We're getting close to potential lap record for the race record here. Alex Farron last year at 112.266. Darren Keene now with fast lap. Darren Keene, 113.16. Need another second rather to get down to the outright fast lap. 4.5 minutes remaining. Look at these drivers pushing hard, Michael, as they circulate around this track through that turn 7, 8, 9 complex as you talked about. Really getting after it.
So in keeping, I'm watching the monitors here, and as they come across the line, we have Suleiman in second, and that's Colin Kaminsky. He is the second car in line. So it's Braden Eves, then Kaminsky a lap down, then Suleiman, McElrea, Rasmussen, and Holden.
Is Kaminsky indeed a lap down? And the number 23, or yeah.
There he is.
Yeah, they're actually throwing him the blue move over flag, so indeed he was able to get back row on a lap down. Manuel Suleiman in that second spot. Darren Keene a couple tenths quicker than Tomaselli last time by. He's slowly closing up. Keene trying to get a couple more positions here. Otherwise, no real close racing. They're pretty much nose to tail, but with a length or two separation between each of them.
Colin Kaminsky not really holding up McElrea as we go full course caution again with 3 minutes remaining.
This is going to be tough to bounce back from. I don't know if we're going to be able to get cleaned up enough to go back to green. Try to see if we can't find out what's going on the racetrack here right now. As we said, full course yellow once again. That's the number 40 of Jack Miller. That could be the wall in the exit of turn number 10, Michael.
Either that or the tire barrier,
or potentially the tire barrier, yeah. That's the number 40, Jack William Miller in the Miller Vinatieri machine. That will be coming out at turn number 10.
Well, we're looking back from turn number 11 to turn number 10. It's in that area between where you see right now on your video screens and the entrance to turn number 10, that little area.
Yeah, we would need that one camera back to give that one to you. But again, if it's not that tough, we may be able to go back to green. We are 2.5 minutes remaining. I can tell you this. Race control always wants to go back to green if they possibly can. They want to finish on the green. Pace car picking up the field as they come out at turn number 1 and 2.
And the convenient thing is where Miller is, there's that runoff area. As a matter of fact, I could probably look over our right shoulder and see if we can find that car.
Quick run for Michael to the back part of our booth here in the grandstands, right at start finish. Again, an issue there with Jack Miller. Michael coming back for a report.
Well, if we had wireless headphones, I could tell you that they're rolling Jack Miller into the runoff area right now.
There it is. So, looking at the car, the pace car coming through, I have a feeling that we're going to go green this time by. They had the hand out. We'll see. Let's reset. Braden Eves leading the way, the driver out of Ohio in the number 8, leading in his debut weekend with Cape Motorsports. Ran last year with Newman Walks Racing. Looks like Colin Kaminsky's going to drop back a little bit. Braden Eves leading. Manuel Suleiman in second. Hunter McElroy third. Christian Rasmussen fourth. Zach Holden fifth. Bruno Tomaselli in sixth spot. Darren Keene has worked his way from 19th to 7th. Yuvan Sundaramurthy in 8th. Reese Gold 9th. And Anthony Famularo for BN Racing rounding out your top 10. Will we see the road to Indy pace car duck on off as it comes out of turn number 14? Indeed it will. We are going back to green. I like to see it. We're a minute to go. We may get 2 laps. I'm not sure if we'll go one more white after this, but we are rolling back around.
Looks like the flagman has the green flag in hand. We do not see the white. Here they come out of turn number 14 for the restart. Green and white.
1 lap dash. We are going to the end here. Manuel Suleiman going at it. Hunter McElroy goes to the bottom of the racetrack. They're trying to hold off Rasmussen. They'll work their way down. Into turn number 1. Status quo. Coming out of 1 to 2. There's a move for Darren Keene. He'll get by. Keene to the inside. Book it. He gets by Tomaselli. So move Darren Keene to P6 with a good move to the inside. Going into turn number 1.
Christian, go ahead.
Good racing action.
Yeah.
Clean through 1, Michael.
Christian Rasmussen all over the rear wing of McElroy. Had to move down into turn number 1. Thought better of it, but trying to take that final podium position away from McElroy. They worked their way through turn number 8. Now through turn number 9. The battle for 3rd and 4th continues on into turn number 9.
This is where these drivers start to balance out. Do I make that low percentage move? Do I just want to bring home a result to start off the season? You don't want that DNF. And indeed,
nice
potential move.
Yeah, McElroy's done that every time. Yeah. He stuck that inside. He's only going to have one more shot at him. Christian Rasmussen trying to get that 3rd position away from McElroy.
Coming through the corner here. Suleiman pretty close on Eves. Do we get a drag race to the line? Here it is. Checker flag will fly. First race of the 2019 Cooper Tires USF2000 Championship. And Braden Eves getting his first victory for Cape Motorsports. Braden Eves winning by about 0.4 of a second. Manuel Suleiman in second. Hunter McElroy holding off Christian Rasmussen in 3rd. Rasmussen 4th. Zach Holden 5th. Tomaselli able to get back by Keene. I want to know whether or not Keene may have not got the jump coming out of turn number 1. Tomaselli in 6th. Darren Keene 7th. Sundaramurthy in 8th. Famularo 9th. And Reese Gold 10th. A good run as well for Cameron Shields. Shields started a little deeper in the field back at 18th. He's able to advance his way up to 11th. He'll have a better starting spot, I believe, for race number 2. Matt Round-Garrido as well. He started dead last in 21st. He goes up to P12. All told, a pretty good run. A couple of drivers with some good recovery efforts. But Braden Eves wins from pole, Michael, on what was a very action-packed event.
A bit chaotic, a bit disjointed, but Braden Eves did a great job holding him off, did a great job on all the restarts. I thought Suleiman did a great job. McElroy, once he got past that opening corner, did a great job. Rasmussen, some good battles. Zach Holden lost a few positions, but Bruno Tomaselli, a great run for her today.
I think it's big for Bruna. She's with Pabst Racing this year, and I think that particular group of people, that atmosphere is going to pay off for her. It's her 3rd year in the series. I look for her to do a lot of top 10s, potentially even trying to get herself onto the podium before the season is done. But in the end, Braden Eves with the win. Manuel Suleiman in 2nd. Hunter McElroy, the scholarship winner from Australia, finishes 3rd. His debut, he's on the podium. Christian Rasmussen in 4th. Zach Holden 5th. 6th and 7th, Bruno Tomaselli and Darren Keene, a good battle there. The rookie Yuvan Sundaramurthy in 8th. In fact, rookies 8th, 9th, and 10th. Sundaramurthy, Anthony Famularo, and Reese Gold.
I know you have to do victory podium, but I think the biggest story out of this race, so there are 3 things. Eves' run, I thought, was a great run. Alex Barron, a costly incident in turn number 1, will relegate him 21st. And the run of Darren Keene to go from 19th to 7th. 3 stories right there within one race with 3 very talented potentially championship drivers.
All three of those drivers I would have put into the championship battle from the very get-go. Braden East from pole takes full advantage of a great run in qualifying. He'll get that first win. And wins breed wins. We know that. Once you get that monkey off your back, you can open the floodgates. Eves is going to be tough as we roll through to the remainder of the season. The great recovery from Darren Keene. You are totally correct on that. This changes everything after starting 19th. Total stark contrast to Alex Barron, who came in full of thoughts of winning a championship and the potential scholarship to move forward. No, he ends up upside down into the barriers on the outside, the tires on the outside of one. Not a good way to start the season for Alex Barron and Legacy Autosport.
Victory podium celebration is where?
Heading down right inside of turn number 1 and 2 like it always is.
Okay, same stage. You can join Rob Howden and our top 3 finishers in this USF 2000 kickoff. Eve Suleiman and McElray. Rob will join our top 3 drivers here momentarily.
Big thank you to those of you tuning into the road to Indy app and on Mixler. Thank you so much, folks. Next race still coming up.
Indeed, the Indy Pro 2000 race number 1. We will kick off their season in just a few moments after our victory podium celebration. The green flag will fly for the Indy Pro 2000 after that slight delay. 12:40 is the slotted green flag for the Indy Pro 2000 series. Their first race of the year, Parker Thompson will bring them down. We welcome you, race fans, and now take advantage of all of our wonderful concession stands. We've got great food, great drink for you, a great opportunity to stretch the arms and the back and get up and walk around a little bit and enjoy this beautiful St. Petersburg sunshine. What a great day, and we're happy you made us part of it. It's day number 1 of the Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg.